Good, whatever time yins are viewing this, viewers. This is Jerry the YGP here, and welcome to Crappy Fanfics About Rappers Month. Now, you're probably wondering why this is an entire month. Well, originally I was looking for a single crappy fanfic about Takeshi 69 because that guy's a piece of garbage. But then I discovered that there were a ton of fanfics involving rappers. So you know what? I decided to dedicate a month to reading crappy fanfics about rappers. So I hope you enjoy this, and have a nice day. T.I., Lil Jon, and Eminem Go to Equestria by Frostwolf. 3 rappers, T.I., Lil Jon, and Eminem go to Equestria and wreak havoc on the local population with their music. This is not to be taken seriously. Any and all songs mentioned are not owned by me. Oh, one that actually is supposed to be complete, apparently, though. Then again, the other one was 6ix9ine in Equestria. That one was labeled as complete, yet it ended on a cliffhanger. Oh, great. This is one of those ones where all the pictures are missing. Fun. So, Chapter 1. Where the fuck are we? Legends Recording Studios, New York City, USA, 2010. Yo, what's up, mate? I can't say that word because this is YouTube. T.I. called to Lil Jon. What up to you, man? How you been and how you been doing? Lil Jon called back. I've been finishing up on my new album, King. I think this is gonna have some #1 hits for show. Before Lil Jon could reply, a voice called out from the main entrance to the studio. Where the fuck is T.I.P.? The voice came from Eminem, the only good white rapper to ever become famous. T.I.P. ain't around no more. Now it's just T.I. Where the fuck you want, Eminem? T.I. called back as Eminem walked over to Lil Jon and T.I. he tripped over a drum set. Smooth move, dumb fuck. I'm sorry about that, but I just came over to show you my new album, Recover, before it came out. Well, isn't that ironic, because I was just about to show Lil Jon here my new album, Kang, before it comes out. Well, why don't you go first, T.I., since you was here first, Lil Jon said. Little did the rappers know, on a planet just like Earth 3 billion light years away, everyone's least favorite unicorn, Twilight Sparkle, was conjuring up a teleportation spell that would allow her to transport things from very long distances away. Of course, she always messes up. T.I. had just finished showing his song, What You Know, which is linked in the fanfiction here on the actual website, fanfiction.net, to Eminem and Lil Jon, when Eminem was about to show a song, Not Afraid, also linked. When a portal opened up and began to suck the 2 rappers and 1 king of crunk into it. What the hell is going on? Why? And is that a portal? Lil Jon asked. Eminem was screaming like a little girl. Lil Jon was flailing his arms, and T.I. was trying to grab 3 Glock 18s he kept in the cabinet for instances where some motherfucker tried to rob the studio. As soon as he had a tight grip on the guns, he grabbed 5 extended mags for each gun. Then he was sucked in along with the others. Insert transportation music. Twilight had just finished preparing the spell and was in the process of activating it and explaining it to the rest of the girls in Spike what the spell would do. The spell will allow me to teleport objects from long distances, she explained. So, if I wanted you to teleport something from my shop, could you do it? Rarity asked. She was very happy with the fact that if Twilight performed the spell correctly, then maybe she could use it if she ever left something behind. Yes, Rarity, it will. After she said that, her horn lit up and a portal opened, and out came 3 hip-hop/rap artists. The main 6 and Spike stared at the 3 biped creatures in awe. Surprisingly, the first one to move was Fluttershy. You're so cute, she said. None of them expected one of the bipeds to reply. Who the fuck you calling cute? I'm straight up gangsta. I should kill you, bi-colored horse bitch. Rarity fainted, Fluttershy screamed and flew out an open window faster than Rainbow Dash, and Twilight put a shield around herself and everyone who was still in her tree. Oh, this is highly dated. This was before the tree got destroyed. Oh, this shows you how dated it is. Then Eminem woke up and looked around and saw all the colored horses. He also saw that Lil Jon was still out. He shook him up, and when he couldn't get him to wake up, he grabbed a G18, shot a few rounds into the ceiling, which woke him up. I'm up, I'm up! He, too, looked around. One question was in all three rappers' minds, where the fuck are we? Author's note, I think in the next chapters, I'm gonna do it from different points of view. Okay. Chapter 2. Meet the Princess. Golden Oaks Library, Ponyville, Equestria, Twilight POV. I sat there and looked at these biped creatures. I didn't think they were real. I had only seen them in legends and books. The one who had called us horses had black aviator sunglasses, a black jacket with a plain white t-shirt, jeans, and a silver cross. The one who asked where they were had braided hair, a red hat with an S crossing with an L, a white t-shirt, and a gold chain that read, Crunk Ain't Dead. Big white sunglasses and jeans. The last had lighter skin than the others. He wore a gray hoodie and with a white t-shirt. What is with these guys with their white shirts? A silver cross and a hat with another biped stretching out. All three had these weird objects, like the one with the blonde hair shot into the ceiling. I finally built up enough courage to ask, to talk. Who are you? Was all I could say. The one with braids answered, I'm Lil Jon, the blonde here is Eminem, and the guy who yelled at that yellow horse is T.I. Now I will ask a few questions. Where are we? Who are you? And how do we get here? He spoke so fast I had to take a few seconds to think about what he had said. In order, you are in Equestria. I'm Twilight Sparkle, and these horses you speak of are ponies, and they are my friends. The orange one is Applejack, or AJ. The rainbow one is Rainbow Dash. The pink one is Pinky. I was interrupted so rudely by T.I., as he was called. Those names are so original, he said sarcastically. Like your name is, I retaliated back. I already knew that these three would be very annoying. Anyway, as I was saying, this is Pinkie Pie, and the white one who fainted is Rarity. I somehow brought you here with my long-distance teleportation spell. Not one of the three dared to speak. In fact, Eminem fainted. So, no more questions. Yeah, I got two. What did you say you were again? T.I. asked. I am a unicorn pony. At this, he starts laughing. I was generally confused by this. Didn't they have unicorns and ponies in their homelands? Can you do magic? He asked sarcastically, which, at that, I levitated the book next to him and put it back on the shelf. His face went from a smile to a frown. Can you do magic on me? I should be able to. When I tried to levitate him, nothing happened. What in Celestia's sun is going on? Why won't my magic work on you? I don't know and I don't care. Now for another question. Do you have radios? And if you do, is there any way the three of us could get a recording/radio station, is all he said. Yes, we have radios and radio stations, but I don't know about getting you your own stations. We would have to ask Celestia. Girls, you can go home now if you like. The only one to leave was Rarity because of their foul language, is what she said. Who's this Princess Celestia you keep speaking of? Lil Jon asked. Me and the rest of the girls all gasped. They didn't know who Celestia was? That was horrible. What country are you from? Rainbow asked. USA. Why? Eminem just woke up and replied. What was the USA? What's USA? We're in Equestria on Equestria, silly! Are you from another planet? Pinky questioned. If they were indeed aliens, that would mean I had brought them here and can cause an invasion of humans. I knew we weren't on Earth anymore. It was really obvious. So, yep, time to send a letter to the princess. T.I. POV. So, while Twilight went and sent a letter to the princess, the others started to ask questions. Rainbow Dash went first. Do you like to race? Depends on what kind of racing you're talking about, little gay-looking pony. This bitch has such an ego. I wanted to shoot her with the full mag. Who are you calling gay, mister? She was up in my face with her wings since she only reached my knees on her hooves. I grabbed my Glock and put it in her face. You want to meet my friend here? He likes to cause a lot of pain for people, is all I said. At this, she backed up and said shyly, Flying or foot racing? Lil Jon beat me to the punch. We don't fly! Most humans race in cars, which are motorized vehicles of transportation. N-word must sound like a scientist to these stupid things. I didn't like any of them, with their stupid colored coats and the fact that we weren't in New York. What are them there black thingies? AJ asked. Eminem answered before I could, and I was glad. I hated talking to these ponies. They were so far behind technologically speaking. These are guns. They are weapons that our world has invented, and they shoot projectiles. I think T.I. would like to test it on your flamboyant friend right there. He had no idea how much I liked that idea, and for a second thought I thought they would, but of course... After the size of the hole in the ceiling, I think we'll have to decline Sugar Cube. Of course that's the reference they would use. Now the pink one speaks. What kind of food do you like to eat? What kind of food do you like? Cupcakes, salad, sand? I had to interrupt her. Nobody could understand her like that. What the flying fuck you just say? I'm gonna need you to repeat that much slower. That was just insane. How was speaking that fast even possible? Of course Twilight comes in. Pinky said, what kind of food do you like, and do you like cupcakes? How must be the fact that they are friends. Well, you are ponies, which means you're herbivores, not you are your Y-O-U-R, no E and no apostrophe. But most humans are omnivores, which means we eat meat and plants. If we don't get enough plants or meat, we die. I'm surprised that none of them fainted, but they were taking it well. Only one jaw fell. Why so shocked, AJ? Doesn't the dragon eat meat? Shocking answers this place has. Nah, he eats gems like emeralds and fire rubies. What the fuck? A dragon that eats jewelry? This place will give me nightmares. Things only got worse from here once the door opened. Princess, welcome, said the librarian. Herself and her friends bowed, and the three of us just stood there. Don't you guys bow to your ruler? She asked us. Ha! Bowing to Obama. Classic. All he's done is make America worse. Oh my gosh, that's dated. No, we don't. What do we do when the president show up? Lil Jon replied / asked. We take pictures to raise our publicity, Eminem answered. So true. Welcome to Equestria, young humans. I heard you have threatened and scared my ponies. I will ask that you apologize. No fuck that they brought us here. And the whole world is probably like, what happened to Eminem, Lil Jon, and T.I.? Goodness, that's just set in too. On behalf of me and my friends, we would like to say we are sorry, Eminem said. Now then, I would like to ask a few questions, if that is all right, the princess said. Lay him down, I told her. This would be fun. 35 minutes later. So she asked things like what was Earth like and what our favorite this and that was. Stuff like that. Now we got to the important thing. So, I understand that you three want a recording studio that doubles as a radio station, correct? Celestia asked. Yes, ma'am. I would like Equestria to be introduced to rap and hip-hop if they don't already have it, Eminem answered. And why do you want it, T.I.? I find my music as a stress reliever, so if I have that, I will shoot less ponies. I understand, and I will arrange for one to be made here in Ponyville, and it will have separate living spaces for each of you. The construction will begin ASAP. One last question. What kind of music do you have here, Twilight? Lil Jon asked. I couldn't say he was the only one who was curious. Well, we have jazz, which is the most common, pop, rock, metal, alternative, and techno. Well, we would just have to create a new one or two. What kind of music do you guys have on Earth? We have all those plus dubstep, which is like techno but with more bass drops. We also have rap and hip-hop, which is the kind of music we make. Well, I can't wait to hear your guys' songs, said Rainbow. Oh, you will once we get our station. I promise, Eminem said. Author's note. Criticism would be appreciated. Chapter 3 of 3. Life in Equestria as a famous rapper. 3 months passed with the 3 rappers staying at the library. During those 3 months, they wrote new songs for when the station opens, listened to previous songs they made, and other things of the such on their phones. They also had to be kept under constant watch by the guards. They couldn't even go outside to smoke some weed or cigs. To add on to that, there was always someone, Pony, who had a question for the trio. What kind of music do you make? What is your world like? Etc. Gets really annoying, doesn't it? But after those 3 months, they finally got their music station. After a couple hours of arguing, they decided to call it 104.8 R&B Hits. They waited a few days to get settled into their new home before starting to record their songs that they were showing each other before the whole Portal to Equestria thing. Since Lil Jon didn't have an album to show, he made a new one. He called it Crunk Rock. T.I. produced King, and M went with Recovery. All three of them with trademarks. A few weeks went by with the main six advertising the station. They started to get some listeners. It worked with Lil Jon playing songs off his phone from various artists from Earth via Vivo. Soon enough, as 104.8 became more and more popular, there were some ponies who became hip-hop artists themselves. Since they didn't have equestrian currency, Lil Jon would ask for a donation between every few songs, or right before a commercial break. Princess Celestia happened to be listening in to one of those times and thought, well, I don't think anyone else is, so why don't I donate some? Plus it'll help my image too. So after that she donated 10,000 bits to 104.8 R&B Hits. With the money, the three rappers bought albums from up-and-coming hip-hop/rap/crunk artists and played it. They also started a record label with the remaining money. When the public found out, it became one of the most famous openings of a business in equestrian history. They called it Equestrian Hustle. As they began to sign good artists, they made tons of money from them. Since T.I. was the only one with label-owning experience, they left him in charge with the label. They also hired homeless ponies to work at the station so they could have days off and not work every day. The three began to give out money to orphanages and charities and homeless ponies. They became as famous, if not more famous, than the Wonderbolts. All their concerts sold out, and they had the female I Wanna Fuck You fans too. Celestia looked for a way to get them home, but couldn't find one, so they figured they should continue to make friends and music. About 2 months after they opened Equestrian Hustle, T.I. released T.I. vs. T.I.P. trademark, became an instant hit, and by the end of the month was in the top 10 albums in the country. A year later, Eminem released the Marshall Mathers LP2. It won 5 number 1 songs in 2 months. 2 weeks after the release of Eminem's album, Lil Jon released his hit single with DJ Pawn 3, Turn Down for What? Trademark. It earned a number 1 in 2 days and stayed there another year. They continued their careers for many more years, with Lil Jon retiring at 70, T.I. at 63, and Eminem at 68. None of the three ever found love in that world, and lived with each other until their last days, sharing jokes, discussing the label, and other things. They were inducted into the Equestrian Hip Hop Hall of Fame in 2035. Years are the same as Earth, even if they don't have the same technology. In 2062, they were voted into the Equestrian Hall of Fame for introducing hip-hop and for being some of the best characters that world had ever known. Eminem died on March 8th in 2071 at the age of 100. Lil Jon died on June 12, 2067 at 96. T.I. was killed by a rival 3 days after he went out with some friends to watch a rap battle. He was challenged by an Earth pony. He accepted and won so bad that the challenger had to be dragged off stage, as he was so in shock that he lost that bad. The same pony he saw worked with T.I. at the studio. He stole T.I.'s gun one night and shot him in the head the next day. T.I. was only 69. He died April 19th, 2049. Everyone in the world mourned him for months. In memory of him, Eminem, Lil Jon, and a few famous pony rap artists collaborated a song in honor of him. Never came off of Equestria's top 200, always in the top 10. When all three died, they found themselves back in T.I.'s studio in New York. They looked at each other. Eminem asked, "Do you guys remember Equestria?" The other two shook their heads. After that, they continued on with their lives as famous rappers in America. Author's note. Thanks for reading, and I know this chapter was different, but I kinda lost inspiration for this. Sorry if this chapter sucks, guys/gals. Okay, so, yeah, this was an interesting fanfic. It really kind of gave up around the end, I could tell that, but overall, it's not bad. I'm gonna be honest, it's not as good as some of the other ones I've read, but I would say it's still kind of a good one to end Rapper Fanfic Month. So, yeah, that's about it. I'm gonna give this a 3 out of 5. Kind of had a shitty ending, but overall, not bad. If you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching. You can follow me on Twitter, Discord, and DeviantArt and all that other stuff. You can also follow me on Reddit, and if you'd like to donate to this channel, I have a Ko-fi account down below. Otherwise, please feel free to support some of my other friends who are on YouTube and whatnot. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good day. God bless. Peace, Pacham, and bye.